I started to realize that I was clairvoyant, as you said, and I could see into the body. You know, we've already stepped into, I feel, this new earth, and we can really kind of step fully into our power.
Hello, spiritual friends, and welcome to another episode of Life Ascended, where we tap into our divine selves and our divine potential every day. I am so excited to welcome a beautiful guest today. We are so lucky to be speaking with Susan Kennard, who is a spiritual scientist. She blends her science skills as a psychologist, psychotherapist, and neuropsychologist with her inner work and intuition to help others understand the best way that people can heal from within. She was given the gift of clairvoyance, clairsentience, and clairaudience, which she combines her knowledge of the spiritual world. So if you have ever experienced serious trauma or just want to get aligned with your mission, then you will definitely want to talk to Susan. So thank you so much for coming on the show, Susan. I'm so excited you're here.
Thanks, Cynthia. Thanks so much. And you actually said my name, Kennard has the same accentuation, whereas some people call it Kennard in America. So it's just like getting that. Yeah, you said it exactly right.
Oh, perfect. Yay.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I want to start out the show by just welcoming you and I want to just, ask you a little bit about how did you get started on your pathway? How did you end up doing what it is that you do?
Yeah, well, I mean, I probably would say I actually didn't mean to do any of it. I stumbled upon it. And we might say it wasn't on my cards, but I'm sure it was on my cards. So I started off working in child protection. I was a psychologist. I trained as a psychotherapist as well. And during the time of my postgraduate, the psychotherapy, I had an awakening. And that spiritual awakening was where a friend of mine had taken their life. And he visited me. This is a shortened version, very shortened version. But essentially one night I was woken up by, felt like someone was in the room. And I had this kind of feeling that I was awake, but not awake. And I couldn't move, but I sensed someone was in the room. And later on, after having a reading with someone, I'd never had a reading before in my life. And they said to me, Martin says sorry. And I'm like, how did you know about Martin? And they said, well, he came to you the other night and he's sorry he scared you, etc. And I hadn't told the medium anything, And then she told me all this stuff about me and him. And because we used to date years previous, all about our life and all about our journeys and travel and everything. And she said that he just wanted to let you know that he's totally fine. And he just wanted to let you know. And then my awakening really happened because I started to see, I started to know. And then I kind of said, no, I don't believe this. I'm a psychologist. I didn't want to kind of see anything. And then I went to the College of Psychic Studies. And the College of Psychic Studies in Kensington in London. And I started to do many courses and I wanted to disprove it, really. I wanted to disprove that, because being a scientist and an evidential scientist, I wanted to say, oh, actually, this isn't true. This is all in your mind, and actually I couldn't disprove it. And what happened was I started to realize that I was clairvoyant, as you said, and I could see into the body, and I started to kind of get all of this strong intuition about people's ailments and what was going on in their body and their spine and their mind and everything. And it was like, oh, I can't ignore this. And so I, trained as a professional medium and worked on the platforms in London. And I was working in child protection at the same time. So I had this kind of like parallel life when I was age 27, which
Wow.
was kind of weird. Yeah, I'm 55 now, so it was a while ago. And it, that time was, not everyone was open to it then. So that's
Yeah,
kind of
sure.
where I, lived a kind of parallel double life, because it wasn't as accepted to talk about, your spiritual connection, or, that you're a medium or something. And of course now it is. So
Hmm.
that was my starting point.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's interesting to come from the
Yeah.
place of, yeah, this is what we believe to be true. And,
Yeah.
it's amazing how we limit ourselves, right?
Hmm. Totally.
So,
And
yeah.
the mind, obviously we're taught that mind is separate from body. And of course we know that mind's never separate from body, and, and neither is the soul. So,
Exactly.
we're an integrated being, aren't we?
Yeah, for sure.
Mm.
So, so how do you see this upcoming year?
Mm.
I want to talk a little bit about the transition into
Mm.
2025
Yeah, sure.
because I've been receiving a lot of messages as well from it's going to be a very pivotal year. There's going to be so many things happening in 2025 that we're really not
Yeah.
going to recognize ourselves or what's going on and what we
Yeah.
perceive as our reality. So it's interesting, we're starting with our perceived reality. But
Mm.
we have an astrology event coming up
We do.
on January 21st, and it's going to be a conjunction,
Mm.
an alignment of the planets with Mars, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, which is like, holy cow, how many planets is
Yeah.
that? That's a lot.
Nice.
So yeah, so what do you think is going to be all about that?
I mean, about that, but also I think that, we've stepped into, or, we're obviously recording this in 24, right at the end of 24. And, we've already stepped into, I feel, this new earth. We've been kind of oscillating, and we still are a little bit oscillating between the old earth, the old paradigm of fear, guilt, shame, all that kind of stuff, the boring stuff, and into abundance, freedom, love, acceptance, excitement, living our joy. And I feel that 25, and this is what the guides were talking to me as you were asking me what you wanted, the guides were like talking. And it's really about embodying the source within. And we spoke a
Mm,
bit about this before we started recording.
yeah.
And what they're saying to me, I just have to go with what they're telling me. But what essentially I'm hearing is that as we step into this new paradigm, and as we step into 25, we're actually stepping into the embodiment of the source within, if we choose to. It's always free will.
Mm,
And what we might see is that some people won't be in that place, and that's what we might call the splitting of the old earth. And Dolores Cannon spoke about that, obviously before she passed over, and she spoke about the split between the old earth and the new earth. And I think we are actually seeing that, the beginnings of that right now. And so many are leaving the planet, and we've noticed that.
yeah, for sure.
And I believe waves of energy are coming in, and there's so much light being flooded into the planet. And so that light is being flooded into us and into ourselves. And so the more light we hold, the more we can hear. So we can hear our soul, we can hear what our body, the barometer of our soul, is trying to say to us. And we can really kind of step fully into our power. And that power is, I like to call it a quiet power. So it's like a peaceful power. It's not, I need to have power.
Hmm.
That is who we are, is this incredible, powerful source being. And the visual, if people want a visual, is that the way that I see it is that we have this beautiful big light, and we in this human form are a spark of that light. And
Mm,
so
yes.
what we're doing is embodying more the bigger part of ourselves, the multidimensional part of us, the part that has traveled around for many eons. And we're bringing all of those aspects of our gifts and our bigger part of us to this human form. And that's kind of in a nutshell, I feel, what people are going to experience in the first part of 25. There's going to be a lot of shedding in the sense of old relationships, old jobs, people that don't match your vibration anymore, and not from a place of judgment, just that everyone's going to be lining up to their family, basically their soul family.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
You know, deep inside, it's time for change, time for growth. You're ready to manifest your dreams, but the next steps may feel unclear. Maybe you've worked with the law of attraction, meditated, and done the inner work, but something still feels out of reach. It's time to stop trying to do it all on your own. Now you have the opportunity to join the free Portals of Abundance membership. Inside, you'll receive powerful training and gifts designed to up-level your life across 5 key areas: health, wealth, love, purpose, and ascension. Explore transformative tools like uplifting custom songs, energetic attunements, invocations to raise your vibration, and 5-day challenges to activate change and retrain your brain. Plus, you're invited to join Cynthia's live monthly Cup of Love group heart healing, where you can heal your heart chambers while accessing higher states of love. There's no obligation, and it's completely free. Visit ascension17.com/membership to sign up today, because your ascension is calling. Now, back to the episode.
So, do you think we're going to also be able to heal our karma and our, like, all of the karma we've built up over our many lifetimes, and
Yeah.
maybe is it going to be? Is it? I guess the question that I have is it going to be painful?
So when we had Pluto in Aquarius, which was November of 24, I think it was the 19th of November, actually. Pluto went into Aquarius for about 20 years, and it came out of Capricorn. And Aquarius is all about humanity. And Pluto is, from my perspective, being an intuitive astrologer as well, is that is our piece where we are really purging our karma. And we may have noticed around about that time, depending on when someone's listening to this conversation, but there was a lot of shifting going on there, and a lot of people weren't very well. And that unwellness is actually a greatness, because that's purging all of the old karmic stories and the karmic debts, and the old frequency held within the cells. So yeah, I think we're probably going to be doing some more of that. I'm not going to say 25 is going to be the best year ever, because you hear this all the time, and they say 22 is going to be the best year ever. 23 was, 24 was. We've been on a ride. I definitely think we've been on a big ride. So I'm not going to say it's going to be the best year ever. I'm just going to say it's going to be very interesting, as you say.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an opening of the door of embodying the source within. That's what I'm hearing from the guides. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think the quality of the year is also largely dependent on our free will and our choices to embody the source within.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if we keep pushing it away and pushing it away, that, to me, that's when you really run into problems in your life.
Yeah. Well, that's when the body shows up, right?
Yes.
And the body is like, okay, listen to me, because my soul is trying to tell you something. So the soul, I always say that the soul is talking to you all the time through the physical body, and your guides are pretty cool as well. But your soul is constantly, talking to you, and it's like, do you listen to it or not? Are you going to listen to it or not? Yeah. And it gets louder and louder and louder.
Yep, exactly. And if you don't listen, it's like suddenly it's going to be a shout. And so
the disclaimer, though, Cynthia, is that I'm not a doctor and I don't claim to heal or cure.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
you're coming from the spiritual angle.
Well, yeah, we are our own healer.
Yeah,
No one can
absolutely.
heal us. So,
Yeah.
we choose if we show up and we have the facilitator that matches our energy, then the soul has guided us to that facilitator because we can heal.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and the guides are they want us to be embodying that inner source. They want us to be in flow with our
of
soul and
course.
with our alignment, and
Mm,
they don't want to see us suffering endlessly. That's not what it's about. And I
mm,
do feel like some people don't recognize that, which is very sad.
mm.
That they don't recognize their own power, their own ability to shift into a much happier, more fulfilled life.
Yeah.
So people who are in that space, what advice or what would you where would they start? Like if they're just
Yeah.
so stuck, like what would you advise them?
So, I mean, if you imagine yourself as a mirror to the world, and so our frequency is a reflection of what our external world is giving us. And I think that's a really good place to start, not from a place of guilt or I've done something to me or I'm wrong or something like that. Just from, okay, so what is my body showing me? What is my bank account showing me? What are my relationships showing me? What is my work situation showing me? Right. And
Hmm.
so when you can look at that, you can say, right, how do I feel about that? Okay.
Hmm.
And then, however you feel about that is your piece to do the work. So, if it's anger, if it's frustration, if it's sadness, whatever it is, it's never about today. As I'm a specialist in trauma. I worked in child protection for a long time. I work with veterans with PTSD. I work with sexual abuse, all that sort of stuff. So my kind of work has very much been focused on trauma, right? So when we can look at that, we can see there's a part of us that experienced something in our childhood that got triggered from times before. So, we could say it was childhood that created it. I would say that it was actually what we brought in with us to heal got triggered in childhood. It was all a perfect soul contract.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we can look at that, we can take away the feeling that this person did that to me, or I'm bad because I haven't achieved this, or I'm, something, I've done this to my children, or whatever it might be. And so you can say, right, start there and just say, what is showing up in my world that I do not prefer?
Hmm.
And bank balance is a great one for that. Like, do I have enough money to put the lights on? Do I have enough money? Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like, can I keep warm, especially when you live in the UK? Can I keep warm? Can I put the lights on? Have I got enough food in the fridge? So, if we're thinking about that part of us, that's showing up, and as I said, the bank account is a really good one because we can look at it and say, right, is this something that is making me happy? Does it make me feel safe? Does it make me, a great way for us to have reminded ourselves that we're out of alignment with our mission or unconditional love is look at your bank account. Yeah. And that doesn't mean you
Definitely.
have to be a millionaire. It just
Right.
means you have to feel safe, right? That
Yeah.
you get your needs met. And so that's a really very emotive subject,
For
but it
sure.
is a really good one to look at. And
Hmm.
the other thing is what's your physical body showing you? You know?
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you healthy? Are you
Yeah.
um
Tired all the time. If
yeah.
you're tired all the time, why are you tired all the time? What is it that your soul is trying to say to you? Are you
Hmm.
in a relationship that drains you? Are you in a work situation that doesn't feed your soul? Are you, all those sort of things?
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
are you just getting by? Are you just surviving at the
Yeah.
very basic level
Yeah.
versus somebody who is thriving and
Yeah,
when we're thriving, we can be more creative, and we can, really let
exactly.
our personality out, and we can
Yeah.
there's so much more we can do when
Mm,
we are not endlessly worried about, oh my gosh, I can't even pay my bills. That's,
exactly.
yeah.
And that's it, and actually I have actually been there. I mean, years and years and years ago, when I
Yeah.
became a single parent and I
Yeah.
had two babies who are now 17, can you believe?
Oh
17
my
and nearly
goodness.
16. Yeah, because we
Wow.
met in
So
2019 at the New Media
yeah,
Summit
they
in
just keep
San Diego.
growing.
They keep growing, of course. And, they were babies. They were, like a few months old, or 8 months older or so, and 2 years. And I became a single parent, and I literally had no idea how I was going to pay the mortgage and everything. But you know what? I trusted.
Mm,
And that was my shift to aligning fully to why I'm here. So my invite to people is just wherever you are, it doesn't matter, because you can always shift to the next level and the next frequency. I had a free event recently, actually, a few weeks ago. So we're in 24 recording this, but it was just the beginning of December, and it was called Navigating the Split of the Old Earth and New Earth,
mm,
and that actually showed a lot of people how we literally can shift our frequency from this old frequency of fear, of guilt, of shame, of, feeling like the world is on our shoulders and we're responsible for everything, to feeling like the universe actually has our back. And the guides do as well, of course, but the
yeah.
universe does, and that we can do that. And I think that I honestly feel that wherever we are in our life, we can always go to that next frequency, and it is all
Definitely.
about frequency.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think that would be the place to start, is to say, you know what, I'm okay. I know that I'm responsible for my frequency and what is matching to my outside world. And that's where the work happens. And then there's the forgiveness.
Mm,
And just a very quick thing that anyone can do is put their hands on their heart and just say, whatever emotion is coming up, to say it's sadness, we can say, I'm so sorry you feel so sad. Right. So as we connect with the compassion part, we're helping that part of us. We don't know how old we were, we don't know where we were, but we're actually helping that part of us to feel safe and heard. So that's a really good thing. So I'm so sorry you feel, and then whatever the emotion is, and keep
hmm.
going with the emotion. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a
That's just
great
a
idea.
just a really quick tip. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
Mm,
that's perfect. Yeah, because I mean, if we don't honor our
mm.
feelings,
Yeah.
they're just gonna run wild, and they're gonna wreak havoc.
And show
Uh,
up.
yeah, yeah, they're gonna
Yeah.
show
And
up one
show
way or
up.
another.
Mm.
Uh,
Show up in
so
everything.
so I like how you mentioned the universe has having your back, and
Mm,
this is something I've believed in for, forever.
mm.
Um, and calling on the guides, let's talk a little bit about that,
Mhm.
because I think this is maybe something that people don't recognize, or maybe they just forget, or maybe they don't know who to call.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
what would you recommend for that?
So, I mean, they were having a laugh earlier. They were talking about aliens, and I'm like, yeah, we will talk about that, but they like to have a bit of fun. But essentially, we have, we come into this world and we never come in on our own. And so this is a good starting place to talk about it. And we decided we'd come in, we decided we'd forget, we decided we'd forget why we came, we'd forget we had guides, and then we'd spend pretty much all our life remembering, trying to remember,
Exactly.
and and I was lucky I had my spiritual awakening in my 20s, but some people are just having their awakening, right? And they're
Yeah.
just remembering that they have incredible beings of light, like my picture behind me, incredible beings of light that are here to assist us, right?
Yeah.
And when we actually start, let me just ask them actually how they want to describe it, just quickly. Hang on. Trusting, yeah. Okay. So what they're saying is that as we start to trust ourselves, we then expand to trusting others, which means we trust others, meaning our guides. Okay. So
Mm.
then as our frequency shifts and gets finer and we remember who we are more and more and more, and that we're not on our own in this journey, the guides change and they become more they're laughing, saying more alien, they become more galactic, right?
Mhm.
And so we're seeing that there's a huge amount of information out in the world now, near where you live, Sedona and stuff, where they're saying, oh, there's so many sightings and this. And I'm like, I've been working with the galactics for years and years and years. They've been here for such a long time working with us, but more and more they're coming in to blend with us as our frequency gets more of a match to them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
Sure.
that's why there's more sightings and things like that.
Yeah.
I'd actually like to see one. I see
Yeah.
them, but I don't see them
I see them all
physically.
the time in Sedona.
Yeah, I bet you do. I bet you
Yeah.
do. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I see them in my clairvoyance. um, so, so the thing is, we're at this point where our guides are so excited that we can call on them. And if you're listening to this and you don't know how to do that, all you do is ask,
Hmm.
please show me, please
Yeah.
show me, and get them, have fun with them. Like I always have fun with my guides. It's like having a friend with you, and you just say, oh, what do you want to talk about? Okay, you want to talk about that, all right, we'll do that then. That's funny, because they want to have a laugh with us and bring the frequency up, right?
Yeah.
But the serious side of it is ask and it is given, and it might not be given in the way you think it's going to be given, but it will be given. But you don't, unless you ask, they can't really interfere because it's your free will.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you start to ask, you might see a butterfly, or you might see a bird, or someone will phone you, or, there'll be something that will go on that'll be your indication that, the universe does have my back, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I love that. So, so can we ask them to help us with our bank account or,
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
like people sometimes think, oh, why I can't ask them these mundane things.
Yes, you can.
And yeah.
Yeah. Because money is, this, right? But money is the frequency of love,
Hmm.
right? So the more the love frequency you have within your heart, it attracts more love. So the love comes in, and that's abundance. It doesn't have to be money. It can be every kind of abundance. But the more your frequency, your heart frequency, your heart field is expanded, the more comes into your world.
Hmm.
So a bank account is just a little indication, but I don't believe that it's necessarily about being a millionaire, trillionaire, whatever that is. I feel it's about the feeling of freedom.
Hmm.
And if you feel restricted,
Hmm.
then you're not in your true, authentic self. There's so much more that you can be.
That
Yeah.
is a really good way to think of it.
Mm.
Because, yeah, you're right. Freedom is everything. Because,
Hmm.
yeah, freedom is, yeah, you have your health, you have your financial situation taken care of. You
You
can
don't think
do,
about it then.
yeah,
You don't think about it, do you?
no.
You don't think. You don't think, oh, I need to think about how to make this much money. You
Uh-huh.
just live your passion and your joy.
Yeah.
And then, like you and like me, I have a YouTube channel, so that's free for people, which is just my name. I'm sure you'll put all those details, but
Yes, for
it's
sure.
just for, that I can do my YouTube channel because I have time and freedom. I
Mhm.
can offer free events because I have time and freedom. I couldn't
Mhm.
do that if I didn't have that time.
That's a good
Yeah.
point. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So you can reach more because you have that space and freedom.
Mm, I love that.
Mm.
So if people want to gain more freedom, they should definitely start asking their guides for assistance.
And do the
And
inner work.
yeah, do the inner work and everything comes from within we've been talking about.
Mm.
So it's time to let go of excuses, let go of, blaming others or blaming the
Mm.
world or whatever it is. It's time to
Yeah.
really look in the mirror and say, okay, this is where I'm at right now, but it doesn't have to be where I stay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, little
Mm.
steps make a big difference, I think.
Yeah, they do.
So, as far as embodying more of the source within,
Mm.
how can we like what are some ways that we can really start to do that? Like what are
Yeah.
once we actually start to recognize it, what would you recommend we do next?
There's a couple of things that are coming to me. I really like the imagining your earth star under your feet and your soul star above your head. So, people that think they can't see or they can't hear, we can all imagine a star, right? So we
Mm,
imagine a star under our feet, which is our earth star connected to Mother Earth, and imagine a star above our head, right? So just that, imagining that you're connected to the earth and you're connected to source actually allows you in that moment to feel a little bit more grounded and embodied. One of the other things, so three things that I'm being kind of reminded here. Another one is to when we breathe in and we hold. So we hold, we breathe in through our nose and we hold for as long as we can with our eyes closed. As we do that, we're coming into our center.
mm,
And then we just release whenever we feel, we need to. We don't have to hold it for like ages, but just to come in that peace and that center. In that second, you remember who you are. In that second, and I'm not an advocate of saying to people, look, go out and meditate for an hour at a time, because people just don't do it. So
mm.
if you can just do these really simple things, it leads you to want to stay there longer.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So
Yeah.
breathing in, just
Mhm.
staying, and it leads you to do it again. So you don't need to kind of have a prescription or anything, right? Where you have to do it for 20 minutes a day, right?
Yeah. I
So
love
I like
that.
to do that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
easy. I'm all
Mhm.
for just doing things so simply, because else it gets too complicated and then people are like, well, I can't do it. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, the breathing in, the Earth Star and Soul Star is really good. And then the other thing is that actually to in that moment just kind of say, okay, I don't know how this is going to change. It might be any situation, could be a relationship, okay? I don't know how this is going to change, but I'm just going to hand it over. I'm going to hand it over and I'm going to trust that I'm going to get guided with what the right solution is.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I love
just
that.
that alone hands it
Hmm.
over, you know?
Yeah, because it takes away the pressure. I think we put so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect and we're so
Mm,
critical and, we can
yeah.
beat ourselves up nonstop. I
Yeah.
think people do that a lot.
We
And
do.
and it's okay to,
Mm,
yeah, you don't have to feel like you have to do everything yourself. And you have a whole
absolutely.
spiritual team that is ready to assist you,
We
and they
do.
want to work with you, and they love you unconditionally. And
Absolutely. And
it's,
they want to, it's their job.
yeah,
They
yeah,
signed up for it.
yeah, they
They
want to
signed
do,
up to work with you. It's
yeah,
like,
how
yeah,
exciting, right? And they probably
yeah,
really were thrilled about it.
yeah.
So that's
I
another
think
great thing to
I
remember.
think we've obviously we're multidimensional. We've had many experiences, and we've been witches, and all of this, and we've been killed for speaking our truth. We've been we've been burnt at the stake. We've been drowned. We've done all of those things, and we've also been many other embodied beings. And what stories that we have and we're bringing in, they play out.
Yeah.
So trusting is a really big thing, and judgment and betrayal is another really big thing. And so, we're holding that witch wound sometimes, and that's another thing that we can look at as well and say, actually, in this lifetime, we're not going to be burnt at the stake for talking to our guides. We're not going to be, betrayed by somebody because we happen to be a medicine woman, or something, and I think that's key as well, as we start to embody this source.
Yeah, I think I've been healing that one for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there've been many of them. I think we've had
for
many
sure.
lifetimes like it.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk a little bit about your work and you've got some books out. I want to hear about those.
Sure. Shall I show them on the screen? Is that okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
So this one, Awaken the Light Within Your Heart, to show you up there. It's across Amazon, obviously. And I was very blessed to have won the Hay House Writers Competition a couple of years ago. And so this got published. I know. And it means a lot to me, because the reason for writing this book was so that people would remember they can heal themselves. And so it's channeled teachings by the Council of Light. So it's a little bit about my awakening and then the channeled teachings. So as you're reading the book, you're receiving healing and codes and light. And then in the third section of the book is a lot of my processes. So fifth dimensional healing processes.
Nice.
And this one, which only came out this year, actually, The Guardian Wings, which is my children's book.
Oh,
yeah.
So cute. Here, hold it up a little higher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, I'll get the thing. There you go.
The Guardian Wings.
Sorry, I'm going to get it so that you can see it. There we go.
Yeah.
The Guardian Wings. Can you see it?
Yeah. That's
Amazon
wonderful.
as well. It's not on Audible yet, whereas Awaken the Light, I recorded it with my voice. So that's on Audible if people like that. The Guardian Wings is a book set in the magical world with a magical tree, with unicorns, with, angels and guides and so on. So you can see that. So,
oh, sweet.
So, yeah, it's really sweet. And the reason why I wrote that one was because I wanted children to remember that they were here for a really important reason, that they were always looked after, that they had a really important role being here. And I wanted them to know that, remember that they are incredible. So that's why I wrote it. So sort of age 3 to about 9.
Okay. Yeah. Lovely. Yeah, definitely the children need to keep that memory alive.
Yeah.
And not be talked out of it,
right?
Because it's like when we're kids, especially growing up in the 70s, it was like, no, you're not allowed to have an imaginary friend after like age 5.
Yeah.
It's like, but that's just my spirit guide.
Yeah.
And
I think they are remembering a lot more now as well, because they, they're so strong, the souls that are coming in now, and they're so pure, and they're teaching us, basically. They're teaching us.
They're helping
us. We're not really
remember.
teaching them. Yeah.
That's so true.
You see a lot, on TikTok and all sorts. You see these kids and they're talking about things of their past lives and stuff. So it's really amazing. But so there's my books. My YouTube channel, which is just my name, Susan Kennard, is growing. And I have a 5-minute frequency every Friday, which is where the guides come in and channel and bring through light language or, healing or whatever they bring through. It depends on what it is. Recently, Dolores Cannon came through and spoke about the body healing and so on. So that was really cool. So that's great. That's growing, and I'm loving doing my YouTube channel. So if people want to subscribe to that really helps me. So I love that. I can reach more people. I have a Soul's Ascension membership, which has been running. It used to be called the Soul's Mission membership. It's now Ascension, and it's been running for 4 or 5 years. And I call it my soul family. And I have members in there where I hold their hand, living their mission. So it's beautiful for me to see people heal. A couple of people came in that had cancer and they healed themselves, and they're now living their mission out in the world. So that's really like why you do the work you do, right?
Yeah, for sure.
They're the membership I love, and they are, truly my soul family. A session that I find is really pivotal for living your mission is called the Ascension Pathway session. And that's where we basically clear everything out of the way that stops you from living your true light, which is a powerful long session, but it's really powerful. So that would be one that I would, if people felt drawn, that would be a session I would suggest. I run retreats, I run workshops, I'm an astrologer, as you know, and there's all sorts of things on my website. There's a free video course. If someone wants that, they just sign up to my newsletter and they get a free video course. There's exciting things going on. And I know this goes out in January, but I run mediumship development classes. So professional mediumship. I run channeling classes throughout the year. And so, there's exciting things.
Wow. You do so much amazing work. So anybody who's interested, I highly recommend you check out Susan's work, and you will feel empowered. So
and clear and connected,
Yeah, clear and
that's
connected.
my intention.
I love that. So any closing words or thoughts from?
I could bring them in.
Let's bring them in. Yeah, that's great.
We'll see who wants to come and do the closing. Quite often it's Mother Mary, but let's just have a see. Okay, one sec. No, it's not Mother Mary. Okay, it's the Sirian High Council. Okay, so they just come and inspire me. So let's just see what they want to say. We are indeed the Sirian High Council, and we come to address you at this time. This is a pivotal time in humanity, and we are very honoured that you are hearing our message today through this channel. We are excited for the new beginnings that you have yet to experience. We are excited for you to follow the path of your soul more deeply, more clearly, and more happily. We see that many of you have been living half of your experience, and you may notice that as you step into your earthly year of the 2025, of course, remember that there is no time within your soul, so there is no sense of urgency. However, we know that in your human experience, in your linear time, that you work to these times, and we would like to say to you, get excited about 2025 of your year, because there are many openings for your higher heart. There is much for you to experience on this journey, and you will meet new souls, you will experience new openings and doors in front of you that you have not expected before. All we ask is for you to remember the true source that you are within, and that we are never far from you. Just ask for us. You do not need to talk to us via this channel or any other channels. You can invite us to speak to you. You can invite us to be present with you in your dream state, and you can ask us to provide a pathway for you so that you can connect with us in a deeper, clearer way. We are excited to address you at this time, and we are the Sirian High Council.
Nice. Well, thank you, Sirian High Council. We appreciate you.
I appreciate them as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's a great message. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
And thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate each and every one of you. And if you have a topic that you want us to cover on the show, please let us know. Make sure you follow and like and share the news about this show so we can make it the best Ascension podcast ever, because that is one of my goals for the show. And also, if you have any questions that you have, please reach out to Susan for some help. Don't feel like you have to do it all alone, because as you know, you're part of the soul family if you're here. So yeah, reach out to Susan or myself. And until next time, Let's ascend together. So thank you so much and have a beautiful day, everyone.
Thanks for joining us on Life Ascended, where you can discover your divine potential every day. Please show your support by tuning in, following, sharing your comments, and inviting others to listen. Take it further by visiting ascension17.com for deeper spiritual growth, guidance, programs, and products.